Hare Krishna. Dear Srila Prabhupada, today we're celebrating a very auspicious day of your appearance with us. It's been many years since you have left our physical presence, but your instructions remain alive in the hearts of your disciples through your instructions. We are suffering so many pains in the planet, Srila Prabhupada, so many wars, pestilences, a world much warmer in temperature, but much colder in relationships and human care. Srila Prabhupada, we have forgotten our identities and our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have forgotten our relationship with energy and food. Where do they come from? You have bravely spread the message through the world that Krishna conscious is the solution to all the problems one can face. Simultaneously, you were telling the whole world how important to produce food is and not depend on an artificial way of living, depending on industry. Again and again, you stress to your disciples the importance of having a sattvic lifestyle and developing a lifestyle which would allow them to develop their Krishna conscious even further. You tried very bravely to inspire so many disciples to start the cow protection movement within ISKCON. And you achieved great success. In the past, some of the farms were producing so much. And since you had the mission to establish Krishna conscious all over the world, this was the priority which had to go at the end of that task. And you did establish your mission all over the world. You wrote a letter in 1976. This letter was written from New York to Krishnadas Maheshwari. And you say in this letter, you'll be pleased to learn that along with the Hare Krishna movement in the foreign countries, we are taking care of cow protection very vigorously. There are already dozens of such centers and farms where we are protecting cows, like our New Vrindavan community in West Virginia, Bhaktivedanta Manor in London. Altogether, over 14 such projects have been started throughout the world to date. We are giving protection to the cows with great profit. We're getting huge amounts of milk from which we are preparing lovely yogurt, dahi, sandesh, rasagul, gulab jamun, etc. We have sufficient quantity of ghee for preparing kachori, samosa, and other very palatable confectionaries. The people of this country are gradually taking this idea very seriously for vegetarian diet and stopping cow killing in a practical way. We have got more than 100 temples all over the world, and attached to every temple, we are opening farms in many cities, restaurants, and all of them are going on very successfully. Srila Prabhupada, today you have 106 centers which are protecting cows. At that time, you had 14, and you're very proud of them by saying they're all very successful. From this 106 projects which are listed in the ministry directory for your pleasure, we have about 60 farms which is striving to become self-sufficient. Of course, when you were leaving the planet, you realized that this was a very important part of your mission. And you personally said you wished to go to Gitanagri and teach all your disciples how to live off the land. But your health did not allow. And this desire was shared with many of your disciples. One of your such great disciples, which was very dear to you, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami, just 2 years ago, in a similar mood, understood and helped the cow protection mission quite extensively. And during this pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, right in the very beginning of it, when it was very serious and unknown, he felt an urge to travel to the land, North America. And despite all his disciples advising him not to travel there, he did. And in our personal conversations, what I understood is that he was reflecting on the instruction that you gave him right before you left about the importance of cow protection, agriculture, and a sattvic lifestyle for your disciples to be able to practice spiritual life independent from outside help, and therefore have the freedom to mold our lives in a way to please you by fully dedicating all our effort to Krishna. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami, in his meditation of going to the land in 2020, was that he needed to go and establish this part of the mission, which still to be established, cow protection. He would say, this is our real business. So Srila Prabhupada, in this auspicious day, we see that there's a great urge of the youth to understand how to live a better life. In the 60s, you found the hippie movement in US as a rebellion against the impersonal capitalist industrial system, which was leading to great confusion and conflicts in that time. Today, similarly, we found that the youth has understood that they have been cheated. The amount of prosperity that their parents had, they cannot have. They have understood that the amount of depletion that is being done on the planet is way greater than it can support if everyone is to have that extravagant lifestyle of consumption that is proposed today. So you see, they have now taken to ecology and ethical consumption, ethical production, protection of the planet, protection of the land, protection of the soil. Gradually, humanity is understanding something which you proposed way back in the 60s as a revolutionary, as a visionary. You could see how this system would collapse. And you communicated so bravely. And now all the ecological movements are saying things which could have been said just by yourself. The importance of living a sattvic lifestyle in eco-villages where there's schools and food production right there. The world is full of initiatives of people in urban setups which are trying to replicate the model that you very bravely proposed in the 60s. Having a community with an intention and bringing spirituality to the center. Of course, many of them don't understand what real spirituality means. But now is the right moment, is the ripe moment and the right moment for us to communicate to all these seekers about the importance of cow protection, agriculture, and Krishna consciousness. How all of these elements can fit in a lifestyle which is conducive to human upliftment, something which you so bravely instructed in all your pages of the Srimad Bhagavatam and all your lectures. Dear Srila Prabhupada, we make an effort to please you by informing the leadership the importance of this aspect of your mission, informing them how important it is to shelter devotees in such a lifestyle and allow families to grow healthily with healthy food, healthy environment, time, time, time for spiritual life. Once a farm is established and the passion of implementation is gone, then the time that you mentioned appears. And when that appears, it does not only appear in the form of structures, but it appears in the form of collective wisdom, where everybody starts to understand how nature works and how to cooperate with nature for the pleasure of Sri Krishna. This was the point you stressed again and again. So, dear Srila Prabhupada, on this day of your appearance, I pray that you will give us inspiration to continue to serve you and to show that cow protection and agriculture are very profitable and sustainable, as you bravely stated in your letter in 1976. My dear Srila Prabhupada, I pray for your mercy and I pray forgiveness for all the inappropriate dealings which I have had. From the Cow Protection Ministry of Agriculture, I humbly request that you continue to give us inspiration and your shelter so we can serve you in this capacity. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo.